listening to Shalini. So, it is so many memories that I have been asked to speak about, memories especially of all the different Swamis, senior Swamis, which had etched on my mind and which had guided me, are guiding me, and I am sure will continue not only to guide but to goad me uh, onwards to this ultimate goal of human life. This is well, down the memory lane, therefore I won't go too down. Just around when I first actually saw Swamis of the Ramakrishna mission. I had seen the pictures of Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna, but had never actually seen the Swamis, the monks from that order. So when I came as a middle school, high school student in Nagpur, I was curious that our school bus used to pass on that one road, and I asked one of my fellow students who had been in Nagpur for some years. So, hey, I heard that there is a Ramakrishna Ashrama in Nagpur. Do you know where it is? He said, yes, I know. I will show you from the bus from the street. I can show you. So he pointed me to that nice white colored building there. It was the building of the lecture hall that is still there, although the temple is now a very big beautiful temple that wasn't there those days. But then I started, gradually, once in a while, some Swami walking on the street, right just from the school bus. Then as the things turned around when I went to my college there itself in that city, it is, I got, our home was shifted very close to the that Ramakrishna mission. And I used to go to walk also, and I would see some of the Swamis just taking a stroll in the evening. And then I went and saw that there is a nice library there. During those days, I had absolutely no attraction towards religion in any form. That all they going to the temple or doing puja or reciting hymns and all such things were not very attractive to me. Not only that, it is that I had an abhorrence towards those things. So, and when I saw these Swamis of Ramakrishna mission, I had, well, what kind of Swamis are these? They are not, they should go and live in the caves in the forest and beg alms. These seem to be, not even the right kind of Swamis. So I didn't go to meet, but I used to go to the library there. It was a well-stocked, well-maintained library. And I used to get some nice books, not religious books, That it is not a life of Sri Ramakrishna or gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. No, no, they were quite far. I never asked about some novels or some other history books and such things that I used to, some books on science. So those I used to borrow and read. Mm. And then I used to see the Swami there sitting in the library. Never went to the shrine area to offer my salutes, no. So it is, and then next, after a few months, one of my classmates in college uh, used to stay in a student's home being run by this Ramakrishna ashram. So to meet him, I used to go there sometimes, and then other friends there were, means other students also became my friends, some of them. Uh, and then but I did not go to do pranam to the shrine, no, but I saw the Swamis at a closer quarter rather than just walking. They were going for a stroll. And then, since I saw them more closely, I spoke to them also, but just like casual, that like you meet somebody on the street and say, hey, hello, and so forth, and their regular secular talks. It is never thought that they are uh, holy people. It is, in fact, what these people do, for the whole day, they don't do anything, it seems, just eat, uh, and then, um, so not very impressed. Then I came closer and got more picture of some of the Swami's schedules and all that. In fact, this friend of mine told me a few things. And there were some others also who tried to fill me in that how wonderful these people are and how learned they are. I thought Swamis means you don't need any uh, this educational qualification or whatever. Anybody can become a Swami. Actually, that was the reason I became Swami, because I didn't really have much interest in learning and all that. So studies always were, very bothersome for me. So always loved to go and play about. So um, it is, then it so happened, I got more acquainted with those Swamis. And then our home was going to be, moved to another city, to Delhi. But then my college I needed to complete there. So it I needed to go to some dorm, and then I thought, seeing some other that okay, I can ask here, although they may not admit me, because it is the students home mostly for the uh, that financially very poor students. They were mostly staying for either free for or a very subsidized rate. And although we were not billionaires or millionaires or nowhere close, uh, still very well to do, and so we didn't fit the bill that well. Uh, I will get into that financially needy people to get admission there. So But I anyway decided, okay, let me at least put in my application. And I was skeptic, even if suppose they give me, should I go and stay there? Because the Swami, while that receiving the application, he said, we will see, but what do you, we have very strict disciplinary rules here. Okay, what are those rules? And then he told a few. I told that, well, let me see. If I say I will abide by the rules, I will abide by them. Although no religion as such, I like to be truthful. So, if I say I will abide by the rules, I take it for granted that I will not transgress them. But if I say no, I don't abide, of course, then I don't come to this student's home. So that is how, and then the Swami uh, had doubts when I asked all these other questions, that and looking at my rather jovial way of moving about, and then never going to the shrine to salute Sri Ramakrishna or Holy Mother Swamiji, not at all. He didn't even turn my face in that direction. So he was not, he asked therefore some of the other, that should we take this fellow here? Mm. Even if suppose he, one good thing was, that was in my favor, that because of which I was at least considered, that my this uh, mm, academic score was quite good, quite impressive. So, uh, so that was one consideration, that I was doing very good at school, and so I had scored very good marks. So that was one good thing. And then my classmates who were there, and whom this uh, in charge Swami, the warden that we used to call warden, the warden or the rector Swami was quite, acquainted with. So they told him, no, no, you should take this fellow in. He is good, and maybe this staying here will do him some good turn also. So that is how I got in there. And then there was no other problem in staying or adjusting. It is it was a great learning for me, living in the company of so many colleagues who actually hailed from remote villages. My roommate, the one, yeah, we had at my room was two-seated room, and my roommate, who turned out to be a very brilliant student, achieving many uh, wonderful things in life. Academically, he just went on climbing one stair after another. Very accomplished person. But he was coming from a village where no train or bus would go. The bus would stop about 10 kilometers, that is close to about, say, 6 plus miles uh, from where the little village that was. So he had to uh, somehow write a letter, request a bullock cart to come there to pick him up, because there would be a lot of these luggage that would go. So and the financial condition was just very poor for many of them. Mm, so it is. So it was a learning experience for me to, and I tried to conform my lifestyle to their lifestyle. It is so, and I found that it is, in fact, so good to, push aside all the paraphernalia which is not needed. It is see, then what you thought to be necessary is not necessary. Mm. So uh, and then we used to have a class. As a rule, I used to attend the prayer meeting because it is part of the rule. You cannot enforce devotion, of course, and which I didn't have, but you can enforce that you all must attend the evening prayers, evening arati. And I used to attend, no problem with that. Just I would think about it that okay, I will listen to the music, sit there, relax, uh, as if it is a price that I am paying, to be able to stay there. Every time, in life is compromise. So if I am to stay there, if they are providing a quieter atmosphere than what I would have found in my college hostel. So for that, I thought this is a small price to pay, that just sit for about 40 minutes in the prayer hall. And so I took it as a part of bargain. I have absolutely no devotion, And then what was being sung, that I could not even, for a long time, for a month or so, I could not even know what those words are being sung. The tune and the tempo with which the arati is sung is, not easy. So, and then all the great singers, so therefore nobody is tune matched with other person's tune. And they were singing all whatever you say. It is one reminiscence is worth noting here, that all these students who came from various villages, mm, it is at the end we would say Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji ki Jai, Jai Mahamai ki Jai. So one student for many years didn't know what Mahamai is. So he would say, Guru Maharaj, he could understand Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai. And instead of, he confessed later after a few years that he had been saying all along, Jai Mahatma Gandhi ki Jai. So uh, it is something very funny because you wouldn't know what is being sung. There were the script was there, the booklet was there, but the sound and the written word difficult to match, So it took some time. I mean, gradually I got it, but it took some time to see what is written and what is being sung, how to connect them. And so uh, things progress, but uh, a turning point, you can say, now I look upon it as a big turning point. We used to have the classes, scripture classes. I mean, the books of Swami Vivekananda, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and such books were being taught by our warden Swami. So, and what a wonderful man he is. it is in the first class that book I still remember, and I still love that book. Of course, Swami Vivekananda's books. Now my outlook has changed. So all books are like the great scriptures to me. So it is Swami Vivekananda's words. That's it. Now I do not question at all. Try to just absorb it. It is like the medication. First, you have been told by somebody, "Oh, take it," and you are not very sure whether it is you should take it or not, and you ask, "Hey, does it really help? What is this made of?" You read that how much this thing you. Those days, of course, there's Google and all was not available. So, but you read on the bottle what is in that, and then take it with some skepticism. Well, who knows what will happen? So, but when you know that it helps, after taking a few times, you see its benefits. Now you take it, not only you take it, you prescribe it to others. Tell that, well, this will do you good too. So that is what happened with Vivekananda. That, oh, that is so great. But at that time, what this is talking about. And then um, the book was a Marathi translation of Practical Vedanta. Uh, that so it is the Vedantani Jivan, the Marathi term for that is Vedantani Jivan. So, and the Swami started telling, um, a wonderful speaker, very analytical, and still, had the tremendous ability to connect to the listeners at that mm, uh, college student level, who are either full skeptic or half skeptics. It is the division could be between that, and many were attending the classes like myself as a compromise. You have to attend by the rules. So it is sitting there. But it was a great experience to listen to this Swami. And gradually the word started making the dent in me. When I was enrolled in that student's home, my dad was warned by some friends of his, don't put that fellow there. Uh, uh, he may become a monk, you will lose your son. And my dad laughed at them, said, "Oh, he is completely against religion and all that. I just cannot imagine his becoming ever a monk. Impossible." So, uh, and I also said, why should I become a monk? I don't think that life is very attractive. It is because I had the ideas, other ideas about life, which normally people have. And then I had academic interests, so forth, So one good thing was money never attracted me much. It is yeah, money, okay, for livelihood, fine, but it is, and I owe that to my dad. When I was going to choose some courses, there were many advices that, oh, you go in this direction, learn this, because This has a lot of scope and you will earn a lot of money by there. This particular branch of learning is great. A lot of demand for that. So all that. But my dad said, you see, you learn whatever you can, wherever you can, do good, whatever you are interested in. But one thing make sure that do not study for earning money. Don't connect the two things. Mm. That study for studies. Earning money, do not connect it to your studying. If otherwise, if you want to earn money, many earn. You can become a mafia person, and then Indian, you can become very rich by that. It is. There are so many ways people earn money. Money has nothing to do with one's learning. You can be illiterate and make huge money. So, and so I didn't have that idea. But in general, the life's idea was, well, what is there? So, but this is the first Swami I was seeing at close quarters. That he, they command on not just words of Vivekananda, but they uh, in general various other things that the students are studying, and he was a notch above uh, all of us in different subjects that we were studying. And that was amazing, that it is. So, and he started telling as we read the first paragraph of that great book. At that point, that statement comes there on the just, you can even now see the second page of that book, Practical Vedanta. Mm. So there comes the mention that goal of life, that the life should have goal. And it was, intriguing that, yeah, our life, and quite, it made a very quickly, uh, it made impression on my mind. Yes, life should be led towards a goal, the goal. We should orient all that we do towards that. And at least intellectually, there wasn't any problem in accepting it. But now came the question as to what should be the goal. And the obvious thought in not just my mind, but all the students sitting there was that whatever, everybody will, according to one's liking, will choose the goal. There was no such idea that there should be a common goal, one goal for all of us. So, what should be the goal? And then this Swami told that was not right there, Vivekananda saying that, but he was giving all that the between the lines, one has to read those things between the lines, and he was wonderful, in bringing out the between the line message. So he told, look, the goal should be something like this. And since many of us, most of us were students of science, so he said, look, let us first define. Let us have the definition of goal. Then you will know where to go, what should be. Otherwise, you will just emotionally think that this is the goal, this is what I like to do. But the liking shift change. So let us have a definition. Let us be more clear. Let's have definition of goal. And then I thought, wow, that is something, yeah. And what should be the definition of the goal of life? Uh, those days where, I was such a fool that I used to think that I am a brainy guy. So it is. Uh, so I thought that I started scratching my head. What should be the definition for goal? Mm. So, and then couldn't come to any conclusion. And this, uh, it is this. Then the Swami said, "Look, let us make it like this: that getting which nothing remains to be obtained, nothing else remains to be obtained. That should be considered as the goal of life." And so it was, I thought, uh, yeah, I'm getting some message that some are not able to hear. Is that universal or only with some people? Are you able to listen, Bhakti? Uh, uh, yeah, Uma is hearing all well. Abhijit Kisle is hearing well. So something you are hearing well. Okay, great. So very good. So somebody has some difficulty. Some K Swami. Uh, who is K Swami is finding it difficult to listen to. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I maybe, yeah, something is not working there. But so to continue the that discussion, that yeah, it struck a chord immediately. That sounds great. And he explained it immediately. And I still remember the words, although I am translating it in English. He was speaking in excellent Marathi. So, and any language, even now, when you hear him, he speaks uh, just 4 or 5 languages, and each language at a high level of standard, clarity, accuracy. Yeah. So uh, he said that if you call something as goal, and then if there is something more to go, then obviously what you thought to be the goal was not the goal. That something then should be called as goal. What you thought to be the goal could be an intermediate step to it. That's all. Cannot be called goal. And that is the first time that you see, I was not a very impressionable soul. Very few things could really impress me deeply, but this statement and the way it was presented, really, even now I can't forget that. That it is that getting which nothing more remains to be obtained is what is the goal. See, look at it, that what is the goal, Kunal? The goal is uh, to reach that stage beyond which there is nothing, the absolute. That is the goal. So, It was thus, it got in, but now it started meeting many inner resistances. Then I saw closely the life of so many other Swamis there, how they live, uh, how they eat, how they do their duties, what is the work that they do. And my first idea that changed was first I was thinking that these people they don't have any work. They just take a rest, relax, eat, talk. That's about it, and do something like worship or meditation. Who knows what it is? So, but then I saw while they are surely meditating and praying and all that, they are working so much work, and in fact, uh, their way of working so disciplined. I am not even now at that level. Let me tell you, uh, they very disciplined, concentrated, perfect way of working. Mm. Everything was according to the clock, time. It is we have the idea of Indian time. Means if you say at 10 o'clock, it could be any time between 10:30 and 11. That is called Indian time, 10 o'clock. But here, oh wow, our uh, the bell for taking lunch would ring at sharp 9 o'clock. Sharp. Hmm. Then there were the allotment of duties who should go to put the plates and all that arrangement. Yeah, everything was so well streamlined and clock like. It was this precise, exactly at that time. I used to see one Swami uh, just as we were getting ready to go to take lunch, he would be walking out of the door, that Swami, out of the main gate. And where was he going? He was going to the dispensary, which is at a uh, far away place from where the center is. He used to walk to the bus stop, uh, catch the bus, and go there. And exact time he would be coming out, so exact that we could adjust our watches according to that is coming out exactly. Everything was so the time was fixed for every single thing, and that made an impression on me that yes, it is a disciplined work. It is, and saw that each of them is working so much. There were the visible administrative skills that I had not seen much elsewhere. So it was a lesson in that respect. Then, as I started learning more and more from this Swami, it is it started making a lot of sense. Although there was still a lot of opposition, it started making sense. Yeah, the other Swamis were also there. One of them was very brilliant in at that time the Bhagavad Gita discourses in Marathi were being given by him every Sunday, and they were really uh, an expression of not just the scriptural, but at that time who understands all those scripture and other things. I was so impressed by the uh, oratorial brilliance and the intellectual depth of this Swami, and the command on language and so forth. So Marathi language, it is. So it was. I used to love to attend those classes, and gradually, uh, if something goes in, some changes happen. Even whether you take it willingly or unwillingly, that if you are given a medication you didn't want to take but forced on you, still it will have its effect. So some effects started happening in life because of that, unconsciously. In fact, not just enough to say unconsciously, in spite of the conscious resistance. So it is. So that was the first set of Swamis I saw, that they don't get as irritated as quickly. That was something worth noticing, and I saw that well, as the normally you see people getting irritated and angry on something. Well, I didn't. Uh, one day that I remember, one uh, senior Swami who passed away just a few years ago. So I was drinking a water from a balcony like thing in where I was staying, and then uh, just I thought there is nobody down there, so uh, I spat some water out, threw out the water after gargling, just uh, blew it out down. And to my horror, that Swami was there. It fell on his head. Now I was just, feeling so guilty. Oh, what did I do? What am I? And what will that Swami, who always, bore a very stern, exterior. So, so I went to beg forgiveness, and that probably was the first time I saw him smiling. Imagine. I didn't have that close water contact. There's no need. But at that time, I first saw him smiling. Uh, and that he said, "Oh, that's nothing. Don't worry. It is." Mm. So, said, well, these people don't seem to get upset so quickly. Mm. I just imagine what that cry and anger would have wailed from me if something had like that happened to me. And I am not even now sure that it will not happen now. But it is, I mean, just to warn you, don't try. Huh? It is. So, it is. But it was so much of learning was happening then. And then there was a great Swami with whom I never got a chance to actually have a conversation with him. But then when I found that this is he is the head Swami there, although his health was uh, going down already, he had not much eyesight left, and hearing also was not good. So he used to just lie down uh, in the side room where he was living, uh, on the top floor, on a kind of armchair, relaxing armchair. And then after evening Arati, I started with another friend to go up and do salutations to him. I don't remember what was the when I started doing pranams in the shrine. The pranam was a means salutations, prostrations. It was a completely foreign idea to me. Means, but then I saw, wow, it is that I went to this senior Swami uh, every evening whenever I used to be there and do pranams to him. So, and it's like that the 4 years were passing. I won't bore you with all this narration, but then I thought that can I too become a monk? See the change. Can I too become a monk? And of course, I mentioned that well because I thought that it is a very easy, comfortable way of living, and I still stick to that statement that it is the most comfortable way of leading life to be a Swami. Mm, it is so. It is, and although many disagree, I think that they disagree only because of ignorance. So, um, if they see how comfortably and nicely the Swamis live, they would change their opinion. It is. But I asked this warden Swamiji, mm, so it is. Oh, not all boring, Maharaj. Okay, Uma, thank you, thank you. But yeah, so it is. Uh, I asked him, can I become a monk? I asked him, I asked some other Swamis. By that time, I got uh, fairly acquainted with other Swamis also. And I asked, can I become a monk? And they said, well, it is for you to decide. It is decide by giving a good thought to it. It should not be just an emotional decision. And uh, this Warden Swami, mm, with whom I used to meet frequently, and even now, I was telling somebody that if I have to say the one single most important influence to change my life, it came from that source, from that Swami. So I asked him, can I also uh, be on the way to becoming a Swami? Can I do that? Hmm. And he said, well, it is, you have to give a good thought to it. But how to think? In what direction? And he gave me that you have to have, uh, because I was a student of math and science, he told you have to fix the relative values. If you want just God realization and nothing else, you are just there. You even don't have to become monk. You are there. It is only it is you want only God realization in life, then the problem is solved. But is it the case? You want so many things in life. You want, say, a comfortable, healthy life. You want also to see many places in the world. You want also to study, that's science and math and all that. You have so many other interests. You want to listen to music, and you also want God. Now, in all these your wants, uh, where is the God fitting? Tell me that what is the most important thing? And yeah, because he explained it so well, and that again is so well etched on my mind, that whatever is more valuable to you, for that you can give up that which you think as less valuable. Hmm. Do you see that? Like say, Sushmita goes to buy some clothing, and she likes one top and says, "Wow, this looks good." She sees the price tag, uh, $200, and then she says, it is good, but $200 is too much for to pay for it, because $200 in her mind has more value than that top. But then she sees something that also she likes, and sees the price tag, uh, $25, and also buy one and get another for free. So she thinks now, well, mm, two for $25 is a bargain. So, because now you value the two shirts more than $25, so she happily gives the $25 and then happily brings the two shirts. Tell all the friends that I got it for cheap. Guess how much I paid for it. So it is, she is so happy because she has got something that in her mind was more valuable than $25. So that is, you can renounce that which you see less valuable for something that is more valuable. So if God is more valuable for you, then alone you will be able to give up other desires in life, not otherwise. So, first fix of so many desires that you have, where fits the desire for God realization? It has to be the topmost. To take up the monastic life, you have to put that the highest value to that, so that for that, then you can give up your parents' attachment to anything in the world. You can give up, just as Sushmita easily gave up her $25. If I ask her, she won't give. Hey, why should I give you? It is, yeah, but she is getting that shirt. So the shirt is more valuable than $25. So she easily, gladly gave $25 for getting that which is valuable. So if God is the most valuable thing, not just intellectually, but in your actual awareness, if God is the most important thing, then you will not hesitate to give up everything for God. What an illuminating part that he gave me there. What a great advice! And then that, friends, it is still, I think of it, that yes, this is the most important thing, and giving up anything therefore is not a strain. Give it up. That it is uh, And then when you give it up, you feel then happy about it. Like Sushmita got this shirt and gave $25. Who cares, So it is. You feel happy about it. Yes, it is. I never felt unhappy for becoming a monk. Let me tell you, not even for a single moment. I don't say that I never became upset for something that I have to do. Not that I have been sticking to the highest ideal of monastic life. Uh, I cannot say that. I have to learn a lot, but uh, I never felt, even for one moment, that I have chosen a wrong path. Ah, it is like that. I told that incident, maybe I have told to you also, but very nice incident. I had gone to one city to give a retreat, and as used to be my pattern, because of I had to balance other works against this speaking engagements. So I used to go in the morning taking a night bus, and give the retreat, and take the again the night bus back to the place where I was. So uh, where I was posted. And so once after one such retreat, I got in the that evening bus. So and then one gentleman came and sat by my side, and we got into talking. And then I, he was looking at my monastic dress and attire, and I told him, yes, I am a monk in this. Yeah, so and he introduced himself. He was CEO of a factory there nearby. So it is. So those days, there were not so many private cars. So people used to even the CEO of a company would usually uh, choose a good bus to travel by. So he sat by my side, and then we got into talking. So he said, "Oh, all right, but don't you think that by becoming monk uh, you have missed, that is the word he used, you have missed many good things in life, many happy things in life by becoming a monk? Have you don't you think you missed many uh, pleasures and happy things in life?" So I just, instead of replying, I asked him a counter question. That looking at my face, do you think that I have missed many happy things in life? And he said that his face immediately turned very soft. His eyes became teary, and he said, "Well, I have not seen a happier face in life." So it is, you see, when you are giving up something, I realize that it is just giving up your unnecessary load that one is carrying. So it was a great illuminating thing. And then this Swami kept on training me, teaching me. Um, Now I've met many other Swamis gradually, learned many things from them, a lot of things to learn. And then let me come to a couple of things, because we are kind of running out of time. Already we have ran out of time. Uh, we were supposed to, and I told you how punctual we are, isn't it? So let us abide by that. Mm. So, but let me tell just a couple of things that I had a couple of great Swamis that I remember their teachings. One was in training center. There was a Swami who was teaching Vedanta, Upanishads, and all that. His teaching was as such good, but more important point was the practical application of these in his own life. That becomes an important teacher. So he used to, and this I saw many things that he was completely unruffled by the changing circumstances. A very highly disciplined life, very punctual, and would teach Upanishads. And in addition, he used to hold a Sanskrit grammar class. And another Swami who used to attend his class told me this. And that was a perfect example of what we were discussing, psycho-cybernetics. So therefore, I wanted to tell this. So uh, he was giving this special class in his own room. So when the class was going on, a man wearing looks like very ruffian-like look, uh, and then just pushed the door open with a bang, boom, and shouted loudly, I have brought these things and where to put them and all that. He says, and the Belur Much, big thing. So somebody that had ordered some stuff, and that he was the cart man to carry all that. So where to put, he didn't know. So he shouted, and then it was put there. He wanted to know where to put it. So the while we were that other person told me, other who was attending that class, they were all terribly disturbed by this suddenly this man coming. How nicely we were, sitting in the class and learning many things, and this fellow just banged and disturbed everything like a bull in the china shop. So it is. So we looked at him angrily, but this Swami said, okay, this is the thing you got. You just go on the other side, and then at that place, you ask for this Swami, and then give it there. The man went away. And then those who were sitting there asked, why did you not scold? Look at that, terrible person. He had no culture. He just made such a noise, asked in such a way, a very uncultured way, arrogance and all that. Uh, this Swami said, well, see, it is our job to be peaceful. Mm. That man had problem. Mm. It is, and so he was not coming to attend the class. He had no such idea. He had a work to put it, and he where to put now. So he, in his own way, he asked it, and so I answered him. And now he has gone. We can now peacefully begin our discussion. Restart it. Suppose I start scolding him, you start scolding him, that will waste another 20 minutes, and our brains will get heated more. What is the use of it? Now, see, that man also got helped, and our peace is not disturbed. We spent only 2-3 minutes in answering that. And now let us go back to where we were interrupted. And so that was such a calm way of dealing this thing. Uh, I used to be, and even now, friends, forgive me, but I am not very good in keeping my room and the books and everything organized. And what happens is, um, this is a terrible tendency that not only you don't do the things right, you start supporting doing wrong things. That, and they, some Vedanta books you hear, and then so I said, well, whether put the books in this way or in this way, spread it all around, your bed becomes indistinguishable from the bookshelf. So all is Brahman after all. All is Brahman, whether the book is in the bookshelf or it is on my pillow. What difference does it make? I asked that Swami. And then he calmly explained why it will make difference. That, see, it is the mind that has to, when things are put in an orderly way, your mind also helps to become orderly. And he said, come to my room. And I had gone to his room before, but then never gave a thought to it. His room, was like, had many more things than I had in my room. I had just a few books. He had a library-like thing, a lot of books. Also, all the stationery that was being given to all the students in training center, it was stored there in his room. All many things were there, and yet he said, "Look, hmm, now if you come to this room and go to your room, don't you feel a difference?" Yeah. And then I remembered Thakur's, that in Lila Prasanga and Sri Ramakrishna and his divine life, you read this, that Sri Ramakrishna would be in samadhi and would not even think of his clothes. They just would fall off. He was not conscious even of that. But otherwise, everything in his room had its place, very orderly. Everything was well maintained. So that is a wonderful lesson, that it is psycho-cybernetic. That another Swami, we were going in a hired taxi. So in that taxi, and then there were some altercation when we were to get down about the fare. And I thought that the taxi fellow was charging more fare, and I started arguing. But then, after all, arguing is not going to help. He said, "Well, this is what is there. You have to give." And so I gave, but I started muttering in my nose. This was like, the other Swami said, "Ah, anyway you are giving, isn't it? Anyway you are giving. Now why become upset? You gave your money. Why do you want to lose your smile also? Ah, give blessings with the money you are giving. So give it with blessings." Wow, psycho-cybernetics. And this is practical demonstration of that. And don't get upset. It is, you are giving money, okay. Uh, if you were saving money, at least it would have made some sense. But anyway, you are giving. So now give with blessings. Mm. And retain the peace of your mind. Otherwise, you will keep on thinking about it for 20 years. That fellow cheated me, and bringing the pain again and again for 20 years to come. So, this is the fun. Many, many things, it was not an easy task to crack this hard nut. But the Swamis, uh, who, with whom I had the privilege to be with, they were expert in cracking such nuts. And so, and it is those Swami, especially I mentioned the first Swami. Uh, his name I can tell you now, Swami Pitambaranand. Yeah, so uh, it is so my salutations to all of them, and I hope that I will keep on learning more and more and go forward more and more towards that goal in life. I seek blessings from you all. The divinity is right in front of me. And so uh, please shower your blessings to me on me so that it will be useful for my life. So thank you very much for giving a patient hearing to this personal storytelling. It is, I am sure, each of you have wonderful stories to tell, and so whatever was useful for you from this personal, just whatever you may call it, story, you can take it. Rest, you can reject it. So it is because one gets lost in telling about oneself. I. That is, we are all I specialists, you know. So it is. So please forgive me for all that. So if you at all have questions, I can still spend some time with you, but I don't know if you have time. Harichandan, are there any questions?
Maharaj, no questions.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So, okay, I wish you all the best. So it is two Abhijit I see side by side. Mm. Abhijit Kisle and Abhijit Champanerkar. I mean, you are not sitting side by side, but in the photographs, I see you both side by side anyway. So thank you, friends.
Maharaj, Preeti has a question.
Okay then.
Maharaj, Preeti. Can you see me, Maharaj? Aparna.
What?
Aparna, Preeti. I'm Preeti.
I'm not able to hear.
Okay, that's all right. Can you see me? Okay, Maharaj.
Who is speaking?
Maharaj, pranam. Uma.
Preeti, you can unmute yourself and ask the question.
Yes, please ask the question.
No, I don't have a question, Maharaj.
Okay. Pranam Maharaj.
Pranam.
This is Preeti Maharaj.
Namaskar, Preeti. Yes, Preeti from Detroit.
Yes, Maharaj.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah.
Yes. So Maharaj, my question when you mentioned how you had thoughts about should I become a monk,
Yeah.
So for someone like a householder,
Hmm.
or somebody even more advanced in householder life, like people who are kids are all settled, how would they differentiate between thoughts of or feeling of real renunciation versus just kind of I'm nearing towards the end of my life, or just some kind of stress is there, so this is just some kind of escapism? How would you know?
Well, it is Sri Ramakrishna's life, therefore, is a great teaching for both those who are householders and who are monks. It is everybody has to give up mentally. He says the householders have to renounce everything mentally. Means what? Give up the idea that anything belongs to you. Nothing actually big. It is just affirming the truth that nothing belongs to me, nothing is mine. So it is for monastics as well as non-monastics. This part is common, that everybody has to give up I and mine. It is so Sri Ramakrishna used to say that in householders you have the householders' duties, the monastics have the monastic duties in the monastery. It is, I don't do much work, but then still I have some work that I have to do here. So I have to do that. Many of our Swamis, they are so busy doing huge amount of work. But still, the point is that it is not mine, and nothing in the world is mine. Mm, that thing is to be cultivated. The spouse is not mine. We just got together on a journey for a little bit. Yeah. Before that, the spouse was not with me. And after a while, maybe we may not be together. It is, that is how, yeah, they, it is, so it is not with me. And even if you are together, you are not, always on the same plane of existence as such. I remember I asked a lady about her husband. She had come and asked her, well, how is he? And he said, well, she said, well, he is in his own world. So it is, yeah, so everybody is in one's own world. Nothing is really mine. And we try to, fool ourselves by saying, we like it seems that to fool ourselves that it belongs to me. No. Children, my children, do they belong to you? No, they don't belong to you. You have some duty towards them, some work to be done towards them. That's all. Sri Ramakrishna therefore said, be like a nanny to them. That is renunciation and not mine. Yeah. And then you will hit a gold mine. When you practice this, not mine, then see what a big change will come in one's life. That is how the householders also have to practice renunciation. One Swami told very nicely. He is now in his 90s, and wonderful, that explanator of these scriptures and Thakur's life. So he asked a question that, well, we are samsari people. He said, putting hands on his ears, no, no, don't say that. Amongst Thakur's devotees, nobody is a samsari. Thakur has two types of devotees, monks and householders. You can say householders. You live in house and do the duties related to your family and job and all that. But you are not samsari, means the one who likes to remain bound. You are not like that. You always are praying to Thakur. And what is the prayer that you chant every day, the arati that you sing every day? That Thakur is Khandana Bhava Bandhana. That the bondage of samsara is shattered by the contact with Thakur, and you pray to that Thakur. So that is like becoming a monk internally. That, okay, nothing here belongs to you. God is in you. That is what you are. So this practice is common to both monks and householders. It is, yeah, like there are, in the world we have so many other people doing different works. Somebody is a doctor and so examines patients and prescribes the medicines and all that. But somebody who is not a doctor is also knowingly or unknowingly contributing to that work. For example, the doctor say is using a stethoscope. That stethoscope requires so much of different type of material, and it is made in some factory somewhere. That worker in that factory is also contributing to that doctor's this thing profession. So one should see that, you see, that all these things are very important. So um, you have to see that you are also a monk in that respect. So everybody has to renounce internally. There is no choice that if you want truth, the only way you can get truth is to give up untruth. Tell me, is there any other way? No, I will have 50% of truth and 50% of untruth. Well, no. It is the more you give up untruth, well, it is if you give up 50% of untruth, you will get only 50% of truth. If I don't know if you can really make percentage out of this like that, it is. But you can see that all people can have this renunciation, whether monks or householders. Both have to practice it. So thank you, Preeti. Thank you for joining.
Maharaj, two things. There is one question, and then finally we'll have Kulalda. Sonali and Olina had one question. Maybe they can unmute themselves and ask.
Who are there?
Sonali and Sonalidi and Olina.
Olina. Okay, Olina, Sonalidi. Yes. Yes, I remember them in Pittsburgh. Yeah. So come on. Come up with your question.
Why do you feel that monks have the most comfortable lives?
Because I am living that, I see the householders, they have so many problems to deal with. They are always under tension that they have to go earn money, always worried what will happen to my child, what will happen to this person and that person, and then what is the situation in society. The Swami, other people are worried about their jobs. Swami job has the highest job security in the world. Do you agree or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, this job has the highest job security. There is no question of demand rising or falling. Highest job security. Second thing is about the comfort, that you don't require, any that was one consideration that I became Swami, that it is, you don't have to keep on getting qualified more and more to, hold on to job. No exams. Mm, yeah, simple. So you can sleep peacefully. You get your food for free. Otherwise, there is no free lunch. Mm. There is no free lunch in the world. That is the law. But Swamis get their lunch for free. So, isn't it a comfortable life? Do you understand Hindi? So in Hindi, there is a nice saying. Just take the humor part of it. Don't try to see much sense in it. But then you will see why the Swami life is so comfortable. It says that three these things benefits immediately accrue. One is the itching, dandruff in the head is all gone because you shave the head, So sarki mit gayi khaj. Mm. That is the one obvious benefit. You don't have to apply any medicine, this, that. So it is no problem. You don't have to worry whether this shampoo is better or that shampoo is no hair, so no need of shampoo. So it is that worry is gone. Sarki mit gayi khaj. And you get most delicious food. Khane ko laddu mile. And you get people bring all nice food. I have been experiencing it now about uh, say 45 years or so. Not exactly 45 years, but close. I mean, so this nice, delicious food. And don't you love it? Comfortable. So and then you get lot of respect. खाने को लड्डू मिले लोग कहे महाराज. People call you Maharaj, as like an emperor, Maharaj. So all these things make your life so comfortable. One very nice devotee lady in Pune asked me why, I had gone out, it was raining and I didn't carry umbrella, got wet, slightly wet, not much. Why did you not carry an umbrella? I said it wasn't first of all raining that much, and then I tend to forget the umbrella here and there, and therefore I became a monk because I told myself that look, you cannot take care of even an umbrella. How are you going to take care of wife, children, and all that? So forget it. So monastic life means you don't have all these worries. It is, of course, that woman didn't like it. She became upset, saying that who are you to take care of her? She would have taken care of you. And then that made me happier that I became monk. So it is. So it is very comfortable life. So you can come and stay with me for a few days and you see how comfortable my life is. It is, yeah, very comfortable life. So that is why I say it is not a burden. So it is try. You can see very comfortable life. It is some years ago we were having a big construction work, and that the foreman was working day and night. He used to come every morning just at about 7ish or before, and would work very hard, manage all the works, keep the log, and leave at the end. So when at the end of the full 1 year of the work, it was coming to close, he was saying, now I'm going to take a big long leave. I said, fine. And then he asked me, I also used to supervise the work and all that. He asked me, Swami, do you sometimes go for a leave? I said, well, I have 365 days year leave. Mm, every year I have 365 days as leave. So I don't need a separate leave, you say. Mm. So, but he was not very much impressed, by that. So anyway, but I feel I have now vacation, 365 days vacation every year. Isn't it comfortable? Mm. Okay then.
Maharaj, we have Kunalda now.
Kunalda.
Maharaj, Pranam.
Yes, yes.
I am speaking on behalf of Ramakrishna Vedanta Ashrama, Pittsburgh. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, it is
Thank you
most
for
welcome, but it is for me to thank you all.
Maharaj,
thank you, the Ashrama. And Kunalda,